Now continue on to Lab B of Module 2. Now after some time, you'll see that the gateway has been successfully created locally. You'll see the V1 8-datum branch VNet now has a gateway IP address of such and such, and this is completed. Now one way you can confirm that the gateway has been created successfully is that this button delete gateway is now available. We're going to switch to PowerShell to run the script that creates the gateway on the HQ side. In our D drive lab files lab02 starter, we have a script called configure arm gateway.ps1. Go ahead and run it. Now this script is going to run for some time, so we're going to move ahead and review this script later. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our V2 network. We have an HQ network. Let's scroll back. So as the script is running, we're waiting for this IP address to populate for the virtual network gateway, which is what the script is preparing. We'll fast forward a bit. Alright, now after the script finishes, there is now an IP address for the HQ's virtual network gateway. So that's this IP address right here. Let's copy that real quick. Now earlier lab we saw how we can use that template to provision the network. Now in V1 we used to use something called configuration XML file. So here is the wrong place. It's on D drive, config files, level 2. Now this is the XML files. Now this XML file describes how to connect to the HQ network. So the VPN gateway address is going to be updated to the IP address of our local gateway, 4076, and so on. Alright, so after that's taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and save this network configuration file. I'll be using PowerShell to send this file to Azure. And we're going to log into the Add Azure account. This logs into the ASM management portal. All right, go ahead and sign in. All right, so here we're using the set Azure VNet config commandlet and specify our XML file. All right, after some time, this gateway configuration is uploaded and completed. Succeeded. Now, having the address of the VPN is step number 1. Step 2 is to set up a shared key to establish the VPN. Now, the protocol established between these two gateway will be IPsec, and this IPsec uses a shared key. Now, the lab here use 12345. Please make sure you use a secure one, only for the lab. These machines will be wiped out afterward. So here, we're going to set the shared key that will be used by the 8-datum branch to try to connect to HQ. And we're going to have to do the opposite. Alright, so the VPN shared key is set up from 8-datum branch to the HQ. Now you might have recalled that we ran a script earlier, and this is the content of the script. D drive, lab files, lab02. Configure ARMS gateway. And notice this is where we specify the shared key on the HQ side. So when we ran this PowerShell script, this sets up the HQ to connect to the 8-datum branch. Alright, so let's go back to the portal and see if the connection is now made successfully between these two sites. Alright, so once we are back to the Azure Classic portal, you'll see that the virtual network is now connected to the HQ. Now, if the connection isn't yet made, please try to click the connect button, and after a few minutes, it will get connected like this. So the two VNet in two different locations, I believe one is in Central US, the other one is in East US, is now connected by these VNet gateway. So they're actually pingable against each other. Now our next exercise, exercise 2, we will configure a point to site VPN. Okay, so we're going to configure this Windows 10 machine to VPN into the 8-datum branch VNet VPN. Alright, so let's head back to the network section, 8-datum branch VNet. Now let's go ahead and configure point to site connectivity. This is when you have a laptop or workstation that might be mobile. You might move from hotel to hotel, office and work, and you're trying to dial into this 8-datum branch VPN. So our dial-in client will be assigned an address from the 172.16/24 network. Alright, let's go ahead and click save. And say yes. Alright, so once this is configured, the server is ready to accept dial-in VPN against this network. Our next step is to configure certificates. We're going to use self-generated certificate and upload it to Azure, and it will be served as a way to identify us as allowed client. So we're going to start a command prompt. And make sure you run the command prompt as administrator. So right click on that, run as administrator. And that's where we want to go. Now there's a command called make cert. This command creates a root certificate Now we're going to make sure Azure is aware of it. Alright, so we were at the configure section, configure tab. Okay, so scroll up. On the right of the configure is the certificates. Let's go and upload the root certificate. Alright, so the certificate will live in C program files, Windows Kit 10 bin x64, where we ran the command to generate the certificate. Alright, so now the root certificate is up on the Azure. We're going to issue this machine, this Windows 10 machine, a certificate, the client certificate. Then when we download the VPN package and when we're trying to make a connection, it's going to search against our certificate store to find the certificate issued by this root certificate here. And was able to find it, and then we'll present it to the VPN gateway, and we can establish connection as long as we have a certificate issued by this root. So let's go back to command prompt. Alright, so this command succeeded. So we're making a second certificate used for client. So notice the canonical name, or common name, is 8-datum client certificate. So this is what our VPN connection package is going to try to search for and present it to the VPN server to get us authenticated. Now from Internet Explorer, there's a convenient tool under Internet Options. Under Contents, You can see all the certificates. Now from here you can see we have a root cert and a client cert that's issued by the root cert. And this is stored safely in our certificate store in this operating system. Alright, so our next thing is to download the VPN package. So let's go back to the portal. Go back to the dashboard. Now on the right hand side, you'll notice there's a link to download 64-bit VPN package, 32-bit VPN package. Now if you have different VPN devices, you can click on that and specify which device that you're using, and it will generate the necessary script to configure those devices to connect to the VPN. So here we only want this Windows 10 to make a connection. We just download the 64-bit client VPN. Alright, once the package is completed, the screen pops up. Do you want to run it? And go ahead and say yes. Click on more info and run anyway. Say yes. Now this VPN client will create a connection in your network connection panel. Now the easiest way is network connection panel. Alright. Just type ncpa.cpl, view network connections. This package creates a new VPN connection in your network connections called a datum branch VNet. So right click on connect. Now this Metro thing comes up. Select a datum branch VNet, click on connect, and select connect. Alright, so the connection is now established. You can use this network icon to see that you're connected with network 2 and as well as a datum branch -VNet. A quick IP config confirms that we now have our local IP address, in addition a 172.116.0.2 remote gateway. Alright, now to confirm that our VPN has created successfully, we're going to use terminal service client to try to connect to 192.168.0.4. That is our V1 virtual machine in the 8 datum branch VNet network. So after we have VPN'd, now we are part of the VNet. And we can now safely connect to the virtual machine that runs on that 8 datum network. Alright, now for the sake of testing if these hosts are pingable, okay, we're going to click on the server manager, go to local server, and try to turn the Windows firewall off. Okay, by turning the Windows firewall off, we can minimize the RDP session, and now we're able to ping the 192.168.0.4. Now we're RDP'd into the 192.164.0.4 classic VM. Now once we're in that session, we can start another remote desktop session against the 10.0.0.4, which is the virtual machine in the HQ network. Okay, and that connection is successful. Alright, so we are connecting from classic V1 to the V2 VM. The connectivity between these two sites is achieved through the site-to-site VPN. So what we're testing here is our client RDP'd into a server here, and then a server RDP through the site-to-site VPN to the other virtual machine here. So that concludes Lab B. Don't forget to reset your Azure resources before you close everything down.